Hello everybody and welcome to the second pole position qualifying session of the Basilicata Grand Prix here in the Porto di Argonauti. So we are watching the boats get lifted into the marina ahead of their 30-minute qualifying session. Now just a little reminder, they only get 2 timed laps in order to put themselves at the front of the pack. So it's an incredibly pressurized situation and they have to make a strategic judgment call as to when they head into the race circuit, which is just behind me and round the corner a little bit. So what did we learn from yesterday's pole position session? In the flat water, Faza are the fastest. We had 222 offshore finishing in second place, and then in third place we had HPI Racing Team. Will that be the same today? Well, we're anticipating that conditions will be similar, if ever so slightly different, depending on what happens with the weather. But while we're waiting for the boats to make their way into the Ionian Sea, here are the highlights from yesterday.
Today is a good day for Team 96. We take and improve after 2 laps my best times. I lost a little bit second on the red buoy in front of the circuit, but I push a lot with Rosario, my brother, and I hope today is a good race in the start.
It's amazing. We are really happy because we work as professional. I want to say thanks to my driver. I want to say thanks all for my crew. I want to say thanks to all the organizer. Really, he worked hard. We are happy to race here. We enjoy and we're happy to win.
So yesterday was quite an interesting day of both qualifying and of racing, and we have another day of it in store here for the Basilicata Grand Prix on the southern tip of Italy. Thank you very much for joining us at home. No matter where you are in the world, do tell us where you are watching from. We love to hear and see your comments. Whilst there are quite a few people gathered on the beaches of the Marina di Pisticci, it's the man to my right that I am most excited to speak about. My co-commentator John is here to talk us through what will be a very exciting and very poignant pole position qualifying session. But just in case you've been away for the last half an hour, day, how does qualifying work, John?
Good morning, Stu, and good morning, everyone. So the teams currently are making their way to the milling muster area, the area where basically the teams will assemble before the start of the race, and the boats can roam those specific waters. Race control will announce the opening, and each boat will start calling for permission to enter. In order of permission given by race control, the boats will be allowed to enter the course, and there's a 30-minute window as a whole, and only 2 timed laps are allowed. These can be done consecutively or separately. No propeller changes, no nothing, so teams need to make the most out of these 2 timed laps.
Yeah, there's. Thank you very much there, John. Eloquently put. So we have a clockwise course today, so it's exactly the same circuit as yesterday. It's very similar conditions. In fact, I would hazard a guess and say that it's slightly warmer now and slightly flatter now than it was for pole position qualifying yesterday. So we're in for potentially a different lineup. Just a reminder that we have 6 XCATs going out for qualifying. We have roughly 50% of the boats that prefer choppier waters and slightly more of a swell, and the other 50% like it nice and flat. So yesterday we saw Faza hitting the top of the timing tree, which was no surprise once we saw the conditions, and they managed to turn the boat on a sixpence. But today could be all change. We are excited to see what happens. We had a couple of the boats going out and placing quick times very, very early on, but in practice earlier today, we saw teams consistently posting faster times than yesterday. So it looks like we're going to have a very fast pole position qualifying session, and then hopefully in turn also a very fast race.
You're quite right there, Stu. And if you didn't catch yesterday's race, here's a quick reminder of the race results. So we had Team Faza in first place, 222 Offshore in second, HPI Racing Team in third, QA Oils in fourth, Console Brokers in fifth, and Team GB in sixth.
And that was one of the surprises, really. Team GB went into this weekend leading the championship. They won a race in Fiumicino and then came second again in Fiumicino, both from the completely back of the pack. They didn't in fact manage to get out for the qualifying sessions at all. They managed to go out yesterday whilst here, but they had an electrical issue during the race yesterday that required one of their Mercury ROS racing engines to be completely rewired and rebuilt, which the team did yesterday, and they're hoping for a much better performance today. But Faza were leading the way from start to finish yesterday, weren't they? And it was really, really impressive from them.
They were indeed. They did build quite a lead ahead of them. It seemed like no one could catch up throughout the whole race. We did have some incredible fights between 222 Offshore and HPI Racing, and QA Oils also pulling it out of the bag after some pretty disappointing runs in Fiumicino.
Yeah, they had a difficult first opening weekend of this 2023 UIM XCAT World Championship, but they really did pull it out of the bag race day yesterday. I was really impressed. It was a real pleasure to see what they were doing. We chatted with Abdul Latif at breakfast this morning, and he was pretty confident with their performance. They think they might have ironed out all the gremlins to basically mean that they can have a little bit of a better session. So we should just point out that the 30-minute window for qualifying is now open. They do only have the 30 minutes in which to post their 2 best laps. They do only have 2 attempts at those best laps as well. So what happens is the team manager will radio into race control and ask for permission for their team to enter the race course, leaving the milling area, the muster area. They go through Charlie 1, which is the boys' designation, kind of at the top of the circuit. The boats will then essentially get up to speed as they head round the last 2 corners of the track. They then enter the final straight through the timing buoys of Tango 1, which are easily identifiable because they are marked with a big XCAT logo. And then once they get up to speed through those timing buoys, that is when their timed lap commences, and at that stage they will have a shot at a timed qualifying lap.
And here we just saw Team HPI, High Performance Italia Racing Team, helmed by Giuseppe and Rosario Schiano di Cola, and we had a quick glimpse of their father Antonio, and also acting team manager. It seems like they're probably just warming up prior to entering their first timed lap, it seems.
Yep,
or
so
just begun.
So the timed lap starts as they go through, and we will see how they do. They finished third yesterday, just a tenth of a second, a hundredth of a second, sorry, behind 222 Offshore. We spoke to them this morning as well, didn't we? And they were really, really confident. They were really happy with their performance yesterday, and they're being followed in by Faza. So that Faza will have called for permission and then entering the race circuit there, which is interesting to see how they perform today. If they have the kind of weekend that they want, they could leave here ahead of the championship overall, which is a place they want to be. 2021 champions, of course. We've just seen them round the final boys, Echo 1, Echo 2, and they'll be picking up speed for when they head through the timing boys.
Ooh. A little bit of skids left and right there by Faza. Massively experienced crew in that cockpit. We see team manager Ragesh also having a look at, and they've just begun their official timed lap.
And away they go.
So at the moment we have HPI Racing Team and Faza entering their first two timed laps, and it seems like Console Brokers is also getting ready to also begin their own timed lap.
I'll tell you what, the crowd that have gathered today, we thought it was a big crowd yesterday. You can't quite see it on that shot that you're looking at home, but they've kind of all gathered towards the breakwater that we're on, because it is really the best view. You're high up, you can see everything, and
you have the timing gates very, very close to you.
It's
best spot
fantastic
to catch hear the engines roar.
Yeah, they're called XCATs, but they should be called X-Lions, really, because they do roar. So we're watching HPI now, HPI Racing Team, boat number 96. They are absolutely flying, but it does actually look a little bit choppy just at the beginning of the final straight.
Which is not ideal for Team HPI, eh?
Not at all. That is not what they'll want. But they're looking pretty quick. And they're just about to pass through the timing gate, so they're quicker than they were yesterday. And because they're the only boat that's been out, they are currently top at the moment. So that is a good start from them. I think they probably think they've got a little more in them, but not a bad start at all.
Actually 2:43, and we did their fastest lap during race 1 was at 2 minutes 40. I guess the conditions play a bit of a role there, and
yeah, it's a bit of a wobble towards the back straight. As soon as you come around that final corner, Echo 1, Echo 2, then it seems like they're bobbling a little bit, and the boats of Faza, let's see if Faza do it as well, actually. Yeah, there you go. See, just a little bobble. They look like they're just off centre, and you might think that's an illusion, but we can see them in front of us here, and they are just ever so slightly leaning over to the left. A bit of a bounce there. You can see where the boat is shorter and lighter. It's not plonking itself in, but still, both propellers in the water. Bit of a bobble as they go through the timing.
They'll be beating Team HPI's timings, 2 minutes 34 seconds.
I mean, that's nearly 10 seconds quicker.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable timing. So we have Faza at the top of the tree by 10 clear, 8.61 seconds to be exact. It's almost like they float along the water, really. And some of the success you can attribute to the fact that they keep that boat perfectly flat, so they never lose any traction at any time, which is really impressive. But we're going to see Q8 oils now. Let's see if they've improved since yesterday.
That's Abdulatif Alomani and Badir Al Dusuri in the Q8 Oils XCAT.
And it's boat 17 for Q8 oils. So it's a shame they couldn't take number 8. but they're
That'd
going
be convenient.
It would be
wouldn't it?
convenient, or maybe confusing. But they're going to post a time now, so they're heading through. They've headed through the timing boys, and they are getting themselves ready to post a fastest lap.
So console brokers will be the next up to pass through the timing gates. Already at 2 minutes 5 seconds, they are quite far away from the timing gates. I can't imagine they'll manage to beat Faz's timings as it stands.
No, they have quite a distance to go, don't they? And you can see there, look at that, just bobbling around. They've taken a slightly different line. They've kind of gone beyond the last corner, pulled it right round. So essentially the boat is straighter as it heads off towards there. Here we go, about to head past. Oh wow, okay. Just 0.08 of a second off of HPI Racing Team, which is actually not too bad at all.
Yeah. Very, very solid first time lap.
And we see the manager there, team manager of Console Brokers, and it looks like 222 Offshore have decided this is their time. So they've entered the race course, and they're going to start.
Bit of drifting going on there.
Yeah. Someone's lent on the handbrake, but again, you can just see it's getting a little bit choppier towards the back there. And they're not quite getting the straight line that they're wanting, but they seem to have positioned the boat quite nicely as they head through the timing gate, and so their fast lap will start now. And just while all that's going on, Faza leading by 8 seconds, HPI Racing Team in second, and Console Brokers in third. 222 finished second yesterday in the first pole position qualifying, and second in the race.
And it's QA Oils next up to cross the timing gates. 2 minutes 35 as at the moment. I imagine they will not manage to beat Console Brokers timing, so they're currently in fourth place.
Yeah, further 5 seconds behind Console Brokers there. Boat number 17 of QA Oils. But you know, they're picking up speed compared to yesterday, and they had a good race. They had a good race yesterday. They managed to claw themselves up, which is not easy to do on this circuit. Overtaking is not the easiest or simplest things to do. So we were very lucky yesterday to see some overtaking, but it does mean that qualifying is really, really important. This pole position session is super, super important. And 222 are going to be hoping for at least matching their third position from yesterday in qualifying. They'll be fairly confident, perhaps, that Console Brokers will end up slipping down, and they can slip in somewhere in between, maybe even ahead of HPI, who actually stood on 222 Offshore this morning. We were doing a segment for our documentary programming and highlights programming that you must watch when it comes out following the conclusion of this Grand Prix in Basilicata. So make sure you do subscribe to the XCAT Facebook page and the YouTube page, and in fact all of the social media platforms for XCAT, to make sure that you catch that, because there's some rather juicy behind the scenes and tours and stuff that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see.
That was a lovely turn by 222 Offshore. They're looking quite fast, actually, as they enter the home straight for the. Oh, that's a lovely shot by Alan the Drone.
Alan the Drone. If you're watching yesterday, you realise that we've named our drone Alan. I say we, it was you, John, but I'm happy to go with it. It's a great shot. And really does show. When you see the shore in the background, you can really see just how quick these things are going, 100 kilometres an hour plus.
And they are very fast, not as fast as Team Faza, but they are in second position, 2 minutes 39.
So 5 seconds behind Faza, 5:25 behind Faza, which is kind of business as usual after this weekend. The boat just is not ready for that flat water, but a great effort there. A great effort there from 222 Offshore. So we have Faza followed by 222 Offshore, HPI Racing Team, Console Brokers, QA Oils, and Team GB yet to enter the fray.
Funny enough, Stu, actually the as it stands, the timings are looking very similar. Well, not the actual timings, but at least the order to pole position for race 1, excluding obviously Team G, but that has yet to enter their first timed lap.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what will happen with them. They've spent an awful lot of time repairing their engine after essentially a catastrophic failure yesterday. But they did finish the race, which meant they collect points. But it looks like Faza are going to go in for their second timed lap. So what you're seeing now is they are heading out into the race course. They'll start picking up speed, and then when you see them go through the timing buoys, that is when their lap will actually start.
I'm quite excited to see if 222 Offshore will manage to shave a few seconds off that time. Maybe take it to Faza.
We have seen boats cut 5-10 seconds off lap times before, because a little mistake up the top of the course does make a huge difference. But Faza seem an awful long way ahead, and you can just see Faza disappearing off into the distance. It's a wonderful, it's a huge beach here, isn't it? In the Marina di Pisticci. There's a nice little shuttle, electric shuttle actually, that is taking us from the resort and our apartment, which is just slightly up the channel in the Porto di Argonauti. We had the pleasure of chatting with the CEO and the manager here. I think actually the owner as well, which was fantastic. They've put a fantastic resort together. I must say it's been a wonderful time the last few days that we've had here. And will it be a wonderful time for Faza as they go through for their second time lap?
Yep, they've just begun their first time lap. Let's see what if Rajesh will manage to motivate his team to pull another fast one, or an even faster one.
Yeah, Rajesh, who was really happy to take the Best Team Manager award yesterday, awarded to the team manager of the winning team of the race. Well deserved. It's his second of the championship after Faza completed a clean sweep on the Sunday in Fiumicino, which was our first event of the year. And looks like Q8 have also decided that they're going to enter a timed lap. Q8 Oils, and see if they can improve on their 2 minutes 48 and 800th of a second. It'd be nice to see them shave a few seconds off. It seems like their race pace is actually quicker than their qualifying pace at the moment. And it's also console brokers, not Q8. So similar liveries there. Just goes to show when you're looking at your notes and only looking through the top of your eyeballs, you can't see it all. So console brokers there. Alfredo Amato, Luca Betti heading through and going to give themselves a timed lap.
Alan the drone, who's doing his best to keep up with the XCAT, which is no easy feat by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, Alan the drone gets tired, man. He's he does get himself in all sorts of mischief, but thank the Lord that we have Alan the... Not a sentence I thought I'd ever say in my life, but yeah, we've got Alan the drone there doing his work. Looks like we've got another boat getting ready to go out. Maybe this one will be Q8 Oils. I just look in the distance.
So as it stands, we have Team Faza in first place, 222 Offshore in second, HPI Racing Team in third, Console Brokers in fourth, and QA Oils in fifth. Team GB yet to enter their first timed lap.
And I just took a little walk to the end of our commentary booth there just to see what was going on with Team GB, and they just sat there, kind of looking over the shoreline like a patrol boat, like some sort of Navy frigate, having a look over. So they're just letting everybody do what they need to do, and I think they're probably going to go for two. I bet they go for two concurrently. Get out there, build some speed, go again.
It's either that or Scott and Martin decided to have a little bit of a tanning session. But yeah, you're probably right.
Well, you never know. But there we see Q8 Oils tearing down the back straight, the final straight of this circuit. And make sure you do tune in for the race which is going to start, or is billed to start, at 3:30 this afternoon, where John and I will be going through even more detail about the course, and we'll probably drop in a little bit of detail about where we are in the world, because it's a wonderful excuse to get out and see different parts of the world as well. So Q8 Oil's going through the timing beacon now, and they will be starting their timed lap.
Yep, so we do have Q8 Oils, as mentioned by Stu, just entered their second time lap, and Console Brokers will be ending their second time lap in a few seconds. Doesn't look... didn't manage to beat their original time, so they remain in fourth place at 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
It's interesting when we have these races and qualifying sessions back to back. So obviously we had pole position qualifying 1 yesterday and race 1 yesterday. But the boats then just, essentially the XCAT start to find their rhythm a little bit. And we're starting to see the strengths and weaknesses. We saw a completely different setup only a week ago in Rome, and or just outside of Rome in Fiumicino. And it's interesting because the 2023 UIM XCAT World Championship is completely open. We've seen boats perform well here that we didn't see them perform so well just a week ago in slightly different conditions, obviously different setups, different prep. So when we head out to Romania, which is our next stop, we're going up to the coastal city of Constanța, which we're really looking forward to, but very different water again. So we'll undoubtedly see a whole set of different results, and we'll be adding some other teams to the mix as well, who will be able to make some repairs and come back even stronger. So absolutely every reason in the world to make sure that you keep following this 2023 UIM XCAT World Championship, because it's too open to call.
Yep, and I'd say this is a pretty important race for Team FASA if they manage to score some all-important points in Basilicata. Obviously, we will have the final session of the year in Dubai in home waters for them, their ideal environment. Then it's pretty much straight to the winning the championship.
Yeah, it's exactly how they'd want it, finishing at home, which is fantastic for them. But we're going to see Q8 Oils heading across the timing line, and they're making good time at the moment. If they just manage to keep this up, they've improved on their time.
They did manage to shave off about a second of their original timing, but still remain in 5th place.
5th of 6th, because Team GB still haven't completed a lap, but it looks like
they have called to enter, haven't they?
Looks like it, because we're watching HPI, but in the background we can see Team GB entering the race course.
Well, we do have 10 minutes to go for the 30-minute window. See, none of the teams are allowed to do any time lapse outside that window. So I think it's about time Martin and Scott get in there. So currently we have Team FASA in 1st place, 222 Offshore in 2nd, HPI Racing Team in 3rd, Console Brokers in 4th, and QA Oils in 5th. Seems like 222 Offshore is also preparing for their second timed lap. They were very close to Team FASA, only 5-second difference. Perhaps this will be the one to beat.
So here we go. You're looking at me like I was going to say something there.
That's it.
Nice and flat through there. Ah, never mind. Never mind. I jinxed them. Sorry, everybody.
Let's see what Giovanni and Darren can do this time around.
They're looking fairly fairly open, and they're heading around. They'll be heading towards Bravo Bravo 1, just technically the second corner, of course. And this is kind of a wide area along the top, and then they take a right-hander, which of course the pilots are still happy with, and then they head down towards Delta Delta 1, so they turn back inside, and it is the left-hander. And this is really where I think crews are gaining or losing time. It's just how well they deal with that left-hander, because that's going to be the tough one.
And Team HPI is looking pretty fast as it stands as they enter the home straight towards the timing gates. Bubbling about there for Rosario and Giuseppe. Father Antonio overlooking everything.
Bit of a bobble, bit of a bobble. No.
Similar to console brokers, managed to shave off a little bit of time from their original timed lap, but yeah, still in third place.
Yeah, they're trying to find more and more time, and yeah, Antonio, their dad there, doing his best to try and figure out what it is. But that's them done now. 2 time laps. That was their 2 attempts. So they are, unless something changes, going to start in 3rd position. It could well change. It could well change. And we have 222 offshore going for pole position. But as it stands at the moment, I don't think they're carrying quite enough speed into the final stretch. But we'll see. Bit of a wobble there. And they want to try and keep the boat completely flat. That's the aim of the game. Obviously, physics and Mother Nature might have a slightly different idea, but it's the real skill comes by looking in front of you. Here they go. They're not going to beat Faza, I'm afraid. They might beat their own time.
Nope.
And they don't do that either. So that is them pushing the boat as fast as they can in these conditions. So 222 offshore are currently remaining in their position of 2nd. They will be hoping for slightly choppier waters later. We'd have to have a little look and see if we're anticipating a little bit of wind. At the moment, just kind of looking out and using the markers that we have, there isn't an awful lot that suggests we're going to see a change in the conditions. We're going to see probably very similar conditions to yesterday. Doesn't look like Team GB are going to go out, because it looks like pole position is going to be called. That's everybody back in. I'm just going to have a little look out of my window.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one overall. I wonder if they haven't managed to rectify all their technical issues that they were having yesterday.
We can see the team manager from where I'm stood of Team GB, Shelley, talking to the boat, and she's got a microphone out, and I'm trying to be a little bit naughty and overhear what she's saying, but yeah, I think that's probably going to be it. So it's yeah, that's it. That is the session coming to an end. All the team managers are heading off. So we have our pole position sitters. So would you like to take us through, or me?
Please do, Stu.
Please do, of course. We have in 1st position Faza with a very quick time of 2:34 and half a second. 222 offshore in 2nd position. HPR Racing Team in 3rd. Console Brokers in 4th, and Q8 Oils in 5th, which means Team GB will start in 6th, which is where they started when they won their race last week. But we have our setup for the upcoming 2nd race of this Basilicata Grand Prix. Thank you very much for joining us, and do make sure that you set your little notification, put something in your diary, because we're going to be back with the race starting at 15:30, 3:30, half past the hour of 3 this afternoon from here, the southern coast of Italy. Thank you very much for being with us. John, thank you very much for keeping me on the straight and narrow, as always.
Thank you, Stu.
and we shall see you in a few hours. Thank you very much and catch you soon.